toy must enjoy our contests, or it continues to play. You and I should do this again.
I don't really, what the hell? No fucking way! What? Oh, reflecting this. These are useless. Oh, never mind. That's not useless. Okay. Why am I not getting any essences there? Is there a bug? Am I doing something wrong? What is going on?
Allow me to take my ruined hammer to have a feeling that if I hammer on this thing's front end, I could knock some of its in. Ever put a drop of black chimeral? Have a feeling that if I hammer on this thing a few small runes and allow me to take my ruined, I've an entire vial of black chimeral, a few small runes in the right places could do wonders here. We both win.
Rod. What the fuck, Rog? What is this? What is... now? Could also try to farm brutality. I think brutality is the only one here that I could get 2020. Wait, why is this? Hold the phone. Why is this level 9? What the hell? What the hell was that? What are you doing? Huh? Huh? What are you doing? Why was that? What happened here? Hey, hope you enjoyed those clips at the beginning. You might be a little confused because there was a couple of characters there. That's basically been what's been going on since I started playing in the Necro-Settlers League. when the league was announced, I realized, I understood why they were doing it, but I realized not a lot of people are going to play it. So I decided, let's jump into solo self-found and just do it that way. Probably have more fun that way, and then try to put together a build. But for some reason, my masochistic side came out, and I decided to do Ice Trapper, Saboteur, which can do some content relatively well. Works better as a trickster. Obviously, I didn't do a trickster. I was doing a saboteur. And could use some better gear that you have to be lucky in solo self-found to even get. And I was thinking about it, and I realized that, number one, I think saboteur needs a little bit of love. Hopefully we see that in the future, as long as PoE is going to continue to get support, as they said. But then I decided, you know what, I'm going to switch it over to something better. I actually looked at the POB for the character that I had and found that just switching it to Trickster was already an increase in damage and survivability. That shouldn't happen. That doesn't make any sense. So with that being said, I decided to go over to Trickster and try not Hex Blast, I'm sorry. I was doing Power Siphon. I did Power Siphon, and it did well. I was able to find a couple pieces of gear, build it up, and the next thing I know, we were doing end game, no problem. Ubers, I didn't attempt. I could probably do an Uber, maybe, if I had another couple pieces of gear. But I rounded out around a good 10 to 11 million damage, single target, so it was fine. I was enjoying it, but then I was like, you know what? I only tried one slam build, and it was a broken, overpowered build because I had amassed a decent amount of currency and was able to craft it. I did the Zenith build back in Settlers, and I thought, well, I'd like to try a different slam build, and a different character for that matter. I'd never really leveled a Marauder before. I decided to do this Marauder and make him a Juggernaut, and went Earthshatter. Earthshatter, my tooltip saying 147k. If you go into my character sheet or into Path of Building, it gets about 1 million damage. I did change it a little bit from what people were doing. I used what I got. That's basically how solo self-found works. So I was able to concoct a reasonable amount of defenses, a reasonable amount of offenses, and this character can do everything again but Uber, and that's only because I haven't gotten enough Uber tokens to even attempt one, and I hate Uber so much that I'm just not pushing for it. So that being said, I do know this can reach a better level. You can get some better defenses. I'll look at the tree real quick here in a moment. We have 90% physical damage reduction, 28k armor. We got some higher resistance caps. Everything's capped right here. And we can't be stunned. That's pretty typical for this. Can't miss the shots because we take Resolute Technique. Pretty basic stuff for this. Everything else is doing pretty well. Here's your damage. Obviously, it's all physical because we use Brutality in this. I don't have any Awakened Gems. I have not had any luck with that except for that one that you saw at the intro, which I don't have a build for. I didn't use it in anything, so it's a massive, expensive gem that is just rotting in my inventory. Sorry. Either way, let me get back into the skill tree. Let's take a look at this real quick. This is a pretty cookie cutter. It's relatively similar everywhere you go. There's a few things that I've been considering. I took this. Furious Assault is a little bit of damage and attack speed. It's actually quite a bit. In fact, 147, if I were to take those two out, it goes down to 133. That may not sound like a lot, but you got to understand that tooltip never really translates well to the actual damage. So you can't really count that. I am taking these points right now. I have been considering coming down here, putting myself at an exact 82 all res. Obviously, that's a big bum. Big bum? I like big bums. Actually, it's a big buff to your defenses, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm still considering some stuff. Going to work on some Atlas trees. My Atlas trees are kind of sloppy right now because I've been farming certain things that I was trying to obtain. You could put pride into this build. As you saw from the intro clips, I have a very good pride. It would be even better if that determination was something else, but getting pride damage is actually a huge deal. Unfortunately, to get that fit into this current build, I would have to come up here, take sovereignty, maybe even take something on my helm. I don't know. I'll consider it. We only got a couple days left before PoE 2 comes out, so we'll see. Other than that, the build is great. One thing to note, real quick before I take a look at the gear, you want Mana Leech somewhere in this build. At least the way I have it built, the way I spec'd it. If you don't have Mana Leech on something, you're going to be slamming the air very quickly. So you want to get that figured out. You want to put a little bit of Mana Leech into the build. There's another way to get it, and that would be to take Spirit of War, but that would be a waste of 2 extra points. You don't need to do it because you're already pathing near to here, so no reason to do that. Otherwise, let's get back and take a look at the gear. If you note, the first thing you might have noticed is a pair of gloves that don't really typically get used. These things drop this way. Amazing. +3 to melee skill gems and attack speed. This pair of gloves might be good for something else too. I don't think it would be good with lightning strike because you want to be able to put extra strikes on the gem or on the pair of gloves. You don't need to worry about that kind of stuff for a slam build. So this is actually huge. This increased my damage by like 10% over the regular gloves that I was using. Everything else is like moderately rolled. This is a moderately rolled chopper. It says 753 if you look at it in Awakened PoE or if you look at it anywhere else in POB or what have you. It's about an 820 DPS, PDPS X. Could be a lot better, but it rolled perfect attack speed. Everything else is kind of sloppy. Obviously, you'd want to get some higher tiers. Wasn't in the cards for me. I've tried buying from Faustus. I've tried crafting. I've tried slamming them together with recombinators. It just hasn't worked out. That's fine, though. We can work on that. Maybe I'll work on this for the next couple of days before Path of Exile 2. Everything else has like really good rolls with like 1 or 2 bad rolls on it. The helm, again, has a tier 2 chaos, but it has that stun and block recovery. Not necessary, but that's what Exalteds do. And if you want to see the most egregious example of bad Exalted orbs, take a nice look at this. That life was an Exalted roll. Nice. 5 life. Could be worse, I suppose. But you do want to get this War Cries. It saves up a point on your Atlas or on your passive tree. Otherwise, you do need to take this on your passive tree. Your Leap Slam's going to count and use your exertions. So, one other thing that I kind of screwed up: this Fist of War is level 15. At some point, I right-clicked it, so this thing was like level 9 for a long time. It was again in the intro clips. Don't do that. Pay attention. This ring really well rolled. Dex and Int. You do want a bit of that for some of the gems, mainly these. Not the Frostblink. You don't need this to be level 15. You can definitely lower this roll. This is literally just to cross a gap that maybe Leap Slam can't do or something like that. And then Blood Rage, you may have to go with a lower level of this. You don't need this. But because it's so well rolled and I don't have anything better than this, I'm using it for now. Same with the Amulet. The Amulet is really good. The Fizz damage would be nice if it was a higher roll, but it's still some damage. So I just slapped Admonisher on it, which is something you definitely want in this build. It saves you some passive points to get this. So I have this on here. This is a great amulet. It could use some catalyst, but that's about it. Decently rolled belt. And then I got super lucky in a tier 17 and got myself some Ralakeshes. This really made a huge difference in my damage because we sit on 7 endurance charges. Whoops. There we go. This could go a lot higher. The one other thing that would be really good in this build that would increase my damage by quite a lot would be the Arn's belt from Arn's Anguish, I believe it's called, off of Maven. Haven't had any luck with any belts, actually. She dropped a Doppelganger's guy, her chest piece, before I got any of the belts. But yeah, everything else automated, your normal automated flask. Got 1 healing flask to get rid of corrupted blood. I don't have a corrupted blood jewel. I had one, but then I wanted to kind of tweak some stuff around. You might want to invest in that if you really want to. However, it's not 100% necessary because one of the nodes here is remove all damaging ailments when you war cry. That right there makes up for it. So as long as you don't get a bunch of bleeds really quickly and then jump really fast before you shout, you should be fine. Everything else, as you can see, I also have the 15% life recovery on a war cry. Not sure if that's really useful. I did it anyway. I might bring that out. I might take this out and these 2 points here, get myself some more defense. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to streaming. I am looking forward to Path of Exile 2. Feel free to take a look at that last video that I made. It's kind of confusing to a lot of people. It looks like a lot of trolls are getting angry because they think it's clickbait, but I actually go into explanation of what the title and the thumbnail even means. It doesn't mean you have to agree with me. You can at least take a listen. If not, be prepared. I'm going to no-life the living crap out of Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile 1 if they do a league in a couple of months. I'll look forward to seeing y'all on stream and in future videos. So, y'all, take it easy. This creature's name is Meat Crawl. Sounds like someone you'd find on Tinder.